pescatarian, gluten-free, FODMAP. On today's vlog, we're gonna learn a few more things. Guys, before we start that vlog, I wanna talk to you about Orange Theory Fitness. This is the most incredible way to get healthy, both physically and mentally. There are over 2 million people worldwide that go to Orange Theory every day. And the reason why I love it is because it's data-driven. You can get in there, work out, it tracks your performance, whether you're a professional athlete or a grandmother or a grandfather, it doesn't really matter. It's you against you. The studios are hygienic, really clean, and it's a great way for you to be able to concentrate outside of the studio. So when the world is coming at you thick and fast, the discipline that you get from Orange Theory Fitness enables you to be able to cope with the pressures of the day. Orange Theory Fitness's motto is more life, and as a consumer of it, I couldn't agree more. More in the details below, get onto it. Thanks, guys. Guys, welcome back to the vlog. We have Meg here from NOGO Sauces. And a little bit of a backstory for me. I had crazy amounts of kidney stones back in the day, probably about 4 years ago. And I've had about 6 surgeries over the last 4 or 5 years. The last 2 years specifically, I've had none. And that's because my wife encouraged me. I'm not preaching here, I'm just giving you my story, to try be gluten-free, try to sort of be pescatarian, vegan where possible, and it really works for me. So on the vlog today, we've got Meg from NOGO Sauces, and we're gonna talk about your business and the fact that you've been around for the last 5 years doing your thing.
We have,
yeah?
Yes.
So do you wanna share a little bit about how you got into it, where you're at, and where you're going?
Okay. Well, how I got into it is an interesting story. My husband passed away, and I went through this really stressful time frame and came out the other end, and I developed IBS. So I got some of the things that you got, I developed just through, which can be triggered through stress. And because of that, all of a sudden there was a heap of things I just couldn't eat. And it was like gluten, dairy, things were triggering me, and I just couldn't work out why. So I then went out to market trying to find sauces and condiments, because I love sauces and condiments. Who doesn't? Yeah. And I couldn't find anything that was of the quality that I'd want, or didn't have preservatives and additives, because I don't eat them either, because I'm sensitive to those things, I've subsequently found out. So in doing that, I was an interior designer at the time. I wasn't in the field, and I saw an opportunity for me to be able to make sauces to give to people like me. So that's how I started it. It was as simple as that.
And it took off?
And it took off. It took off really quickly. I was working in my home kitchen up in Hillsville. So we started in the Yarra Valley, and it's still produced up there now, which is really cool.
How has the production line changed since day one to where you're at right now?
It started with me, I was actually in Port Melbourne at the time, living in a rental, trying out this area. And I had this tiny, terrible little kitchen, and I'd get all my friends into the tiny little pots of sauces, trying things, and they were all my favourite recipes that I missed. So learning to cook without garlic and onion, it's actually really easy, but originally I thought it was difficult. So cutting out all these things that are standard used in products in Australia, because they're cheap fillers, so it's quick and easy to use and gives quick flavour, but it actually is simple to do.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, no, I started at the home kitchen, and now we're manufactured on a production line, and yeah, it's really cool. How's
that journey been for you? Are you entrepreneurial, or are you just chasing something to solve your problem and then found out your problem exists in the thousands of people or millions of people?
Yeah, and it's growing.
And that's thriving you, because you said you came from interior design.
I did.
Which might be great for maybe dressing up your packaging and all the rest of it, but I'm not sure there's many.
No, there's not.
It's jumping across the other side,
I did have a lot
right?
of help. And I had one very good friend who was a chef, and a lot of friends in the food industry, which was very handy. But I also had a very strong background with food. So I'd studied across the world, and I'd always had a real passion for food. So that sort of, it was a natural thing for me. And it was also, you know, there's a lot of people out that can help, which I've had, like there's nutritionists and dietitians and chefs. So yeah.
I think it's fascinating. I want to send as many people here to Meg's website. I'm going to link all the details below, so don't worry about that. You see below or above, depending on what platform you're at. gluten-free,
Dairy-free.
dairy-free FODMAP,
FODMAP,
Yep.
vegan.
vegan.
No
So-
preservatives, no additives. We use all natural things in our products and they're all heat sealed. So there's no chemical sprays on bottles. There's none of that. It's all just natural. Yeah.
Great, so I'm appealing to you out there, if this is you, or if this is something that maybe you're thinking about, go to her website, go to Meg's website, and learn more about her journey, her product, and can we buy online as well?
Absolutely. So you can buy online. We're in stores. So we're in retail stores throughout Australia, and we've got a store locator on the website. But we also have you can buy directly online.
Yeah, fantastic.
Easy. Yeah.
So we're in the business here at Creative Cubes of lifting up our community, and I'm encouraging you guys to have a crack. At the very least, learn about it. I know for me, I was a huge meat eater. Like I had to have, well, maybe not meat, but like protein, yeah? Growing up in the 80s and 90s, it was get the protein into you, grow your muscles, and carbohydrates were the enemy. So I used to wake up, have a protein shake, have some sort of chicken or steak for lunch, and then I'd come home and my wife would create chicken or a steak sandwich, or my mum back in the day.
Yeah.
And I realized very quickly after incredible pain of kidney stones that stuff doesn't agree with me. And I, even today, like I was in Sydney a few weeks back and I said to my sister, you should cut down on the meat. And she's like, no, I could never give it up. I'm like, that's fine. I did, I tried it, and it was supposed to be a 3-month stint. My wife said, I challenge you to be a pescatarian for 3 months. That was almost 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
And I got such clarity when I come to work in my head.
Does make
So it does make a difference.
Yep.
I encourage you to do your own thing in your own time. We have great members here trying to make the world a better place, and I'd appreciate if you gave us some of your attention.
Thanks.
All right, guys.
Cheers.
I'll see you on the next one.